I remember being booed in a concert in Austria. And I had this piece, Eating Greens, very American piece. It was commissioned by the Chicago Symphony, and Barenboim was the music director, and he declined to conduct it, the premiere. I could have written a piece like a European modernist piece. I could have done something like that, but I didn't. I wrote this crazy, wacky piece that had a pizza delivered in the middle and had had groove and wrong notes, and so Barenboim declined. But then they got a visitor, Dennis Russell Davies, an American conductor, who really got it, who really loved the piece, took it all over, took it to this festival in Austria, in Graz. And the week leading up to my concert, people were coming to me, Herr Mackey, we're really looking forward to your concert. Really, what an intriguing title, Eating Greens. And, I felt like, yeah, I'm on top of the world. Meanwhile, I was going to all the other concerts, and it was, good standard European modernist fare. And there was even some electric guitar stuff. So anyway, I was thinking, yeah, and the orchestra played the heck out of my piece. It was just sounding great. And, as we're approaching the end, I think the audience is gonna carry me out in their shoulders. They're gonna be so happy that I brought this refreshing, brightly colored, it was like, I brought, Matisse into this gray atmosphere. And so they're very excited. Orchestra stops, dead silence, and you hear, boo, couple, and a couple, bravo, and boo. There's like very little ambient applause at all. And the conductor, but the orchestra is tapping their stands and stomping their foot. They really dug it. And the conductor brings me up, and, I bow to this booing audience and, bow to the cheering orchestra. And then first 2 times it's a little awkward. Then the 3rd time it becomes really awkward. Now they're getting more. And I was another time where I thought, I loved that so much, and they hated it so much that my fear of not standing for anything is wiped out. In graduate school, I learned all about, European and American modernism, and I had that craft, and I had that technique, and I wouldn't be who I am without that technique. So as I got out of school, and I started to play the guitar again, and started to let my body back into my work again, which is I think, a particularly American, practice. And for me, a big turning point was getting my body involved and, feeling how notes felt, in my fingers as, going back to being a guitarist. And that really changed who I was. One thing I'm the most proud of as my career as an artist is having evolved a unique and personal language. And my language, which I think is, a personal language, but it's also very much derived from the constant play and joy of notes that don't fit, of the blue notes, of the wrong notes that comes out of blues guitar playing.